Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome back to Cities Skylines. It's been a little while. Not really any particular reason for it, but we're back. So this episode we're doing a bit of time-lapse here at the beginning. Well, not really, it's a 20-minute time-lapse, so if you do want to skip it, feel free to do so. We're going to go to 20 minutes, 5 seconds to skip it, and then we'll just do a little bit of live gameplay to finish off the episode. But the idea with this was that really just needed more people because there was still a lack of jobs like all over the city, in all the places. And I was like, you know what? We just need to, we don't even have that many people, realistically. We only have 148,000 at the moment. We just need to get more residents, I think, in a lot of the regions. And there's a lot of spaces that look like it should have people. Like, for example, this area here between the new train exchange and whatever the other area was called, which I've forgotten the name because I never know because we haven't named them properly, but maybe we should. We really should get around to that at some point. It's just not. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. I don't think naming of districts is ever going to happen, even though I want it to. It's just not. But maybe we will. Anyway, so I decided, I really wanted to just do a lot of development and expansion throughout the city. So this is just the first of many areas that we're working on. So we go through here, Elm Heights, I guess as it's called. And zone lots of residential and commercial, and I mostly want to try. I'm trying to zone more residential, more than anything else, because there's, for some reason, there's always demand for industrial and commercial. But the problem is that's all well and good having all this demand, but when we start creating more of that zoning, then that we just immediately have lack of workers because we don't have enough people. So I'm really trying to encourage the game to just give us more citizens to the area. So that's why I'm trying to zone a lot of residential. Also, just taking time. If you just let the game run, a demand for it eventually comes back. And now, before you mentioned in the comments, I know that there are mods to change the demand. You know, you can just set full demand for residential or whatever you want. Demand master, I think it's called, if you're interested yourself. I know there's a mod to do that, but I also don't want to mess around with the game's mechanics. Like, just because we've had like the previous city just die on us because we had an issue with supply and demand. Essentially, I think that's what it boiled down to. We had an issue with industrial and not having the right amount of stuff and workers and all that. And I don't want to mess around with that in terms of forcing the game to give me demand when there isn't demand, because then we just get an issue of just breaking things, and I don't want the city to die. Like, I would rather finish this city when I decide to finish it but then I was finishing it because we have to. Anyway, so I'm adding this pathway in here because I realized there's a lot of people getting off of that train station and walking across all these major roads through the industrial areas. Like, that's such a gross walk. Like, it would be so disgusting. So I decided to add some much quicker footpaths, which you can see already loads of people are using them. And it also just gets people off the road. Then cars can move through quicker because there aren't people crossing at the streets. There's obviously still some people crossing, but I'm right here just making it a little bit easier for them. And I think, here I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do another crossing over because there's a lot of people going to the other side as well. So it just saves them obviously a lot of time, so they can just use the pedestrian bridge and cross over to where they need to go. So I think that worked out quite well. So just make sure I adjust it. And I think, because I think a lot of them were actually going to the park, surprisingly. Like, they're just like, hey, I'm going to catch a train and then I'm going to walk to this park. A lot of them actually do. So I decided to just do a direct connection, and then people started using it. So I was like, cool. And I think, there you go. Look at that. Isn't that looking beautiful? Nice. And I believe, so I want to develop this side over here as well. I was like, I did this a while ago. So in case you don't know, for whatever reason, I do have another YouTube channel. I know a lot of you guys would know that, but if you don't, if you go to my YouTube channel page here, it links my other one. Well, actually, I've got like three others. I guess three others actually, because I have the Sim Supply, which is my larger channel, which currently, at the time of recording, I think 860,000 subscribers. That's all about The Sims. Then I have another one that's like a vlog channel where I do crappy 90-second vlogs, which if you ever want to watch them, feel free to do so. Then I have a third one that's way newer, which is the podcast channel, where Ed and myself, we do our podcast. If you want to know more about that, you can go through that channel and find out. Anyway, so there's other channels. So if I'm not posting on this channel, there's usually a good chance that I'm still posting on the other ones, which I have been. And I don't know, I don't know what it was. I was super busy this week, and I didn't have a huge amount of time to get to get videos done. So I was like, I don't know. I just went on the Sim Supply and I was posting there this week. I don't know why. I apologize for that, but I'll try not to do that again. Yeah, but we're back. We're back. So don't worry. City Skylines hasn't gone anywhere. Someone asked on my Twitter, which by the way you should follow too. It's pretty great. Someone asked on my Twitter, they're like, "What happened to what happened to Flabaliki? You know, like the channel." And I was just like, "He died. He died. You know, he's not there anymore. I've taken over, so have no fear." Anyway, as you can see, like I'm literally just doing huge expansion. Like I'm just doing grids and grids and block. Like I'm not trying to just do a straight up grid that is just, you know, like perfectly aligned grids, you know, like you can see I'm sort of bending the roads to the landscape a little bit more, and I think it makes it look really interesting in terms of the layout of everything. And I think it looks really good actually in the end. So that I'm just doing a lot of the sort of grid expansion, but in a, I guess, more aesthetically pleasing way instead of just plopping down a standard grid. And I think it look I don't know what I'm trying to say. Let me start the sentence again. I think it looks pretty good because I was trying to say it looks and works pretty good. Because if you looked at the previous one, which we're now not on anymore, it followed the sort of curvature of the railway and all of that. So it's sort of the grid sort of went around that. I think it looked pretty cool. And now in this area here with Maple and Sunnyside, I realized that it looked real, like, well, it is. It's really, they're really separated from each other. Like there's no points of connection besides going through this really busy interchange right here in the middle. Like there's no way to get to the other side unless you drive through that. And there's no other connection of roads. So I was like, this is not good. Like that can't be the way it is. You can't have them so disconnected when they're so close to each other. So I added a bunch more connections into the area and adjusted a bunch of the roads. I actually had that old highway connection turn into a road that now goes over the top, but it's also still a highway connection. To be honest, at the end of this time lapse, we do some more development around this area near the end, which we'll talk about when we get to it, but it just makes the area even busier. And I think we need to do a new interchange there that's maybe a little bit more efficient, because what we have is not the best. So I don't know. We might have to revisit that. But anyway, until then, just make sure, like, I just felt like because this area is so developed, like we already have a lot of housing and a lot of stuff going on here. I was like, it just looks weird that we have these empty areas like right next to each other. So I was like, I just wanted to fill in some more of these spaces. Like we don't have to go crazy in terms of density or anything, but it just seems like that there wouldn't be this empty space here. Like it just seemed like, and they should also join. So that's why I did that road underneath there on the left, goes underneath the highway and connects to Sunnyside. Then we also have the other road that goes over. I was going to do tunnels that went through because we've got this huge hill in the middle here, which is where the highway is. But you may remember we do already have tunnels going through there that connect to the other side as well. So it didn't actually have room to do tunnels. So that's why we went under and over instead. But yeah, so just zoning in this area. I think it's pretty noisy through there, but I did residential anyway. So, I mean, they move in eventually, so it worked fine. And then I think, what are we doing next? I don't know. This is a while ago. Oh, this is where I was like looking at this. I'm like, this is not... I don't know. I looked at this intersection for a while. Oh my God, look at it now. A lot of that traffic that I think we had there was, I think, due to just all the new zoning. And it's not that bad later on. Oh, this is where I'm adding some more garbage collection for the city, because I'm not sure if we were actually, well, I guess we'll see when I start placing them, but I can't remember if we were running out of capacity for garbage. No, actually, I think we're fine. But I think it's just because the city is so large, we need more locations for garbage collection. Yeah, I can say the garbage processing status is in the green, but there's a lot of places that didn't have garbage collected. Like it was just piling up because it's all so far apart. So I decided to do quite a large sort of recycle center here. We did 4 of them. So it's almost like a little bit of a hub. And again, the same thing with over in Sunnyside and Maple. It just looks like we get these weird empty areas. Like it feels like there should be some sort of buildings like just here, you know, because it's just this grass patch. So I decided we get some access underneath this road. And that actually joins around to that little back alleyway road that we sort of have going through the warehouse area. So then that just allows us to zone there. And I actually put in a fire station there because there was no fire coverage here. And I was trying to do like a parking lot there, but it didn't really work in the end. So I'm not sure. Oh, I just did some warehouses because I was like, I don't know. Like I wanted to do some parking lots, but it didn't really fit. And I decided to paint in this whole area with concrete, which I'm not sure why it wasn't. I feel like it should have been before. So I was like, you know what? Let's just put it in there. But I didn't want to go too crazy on this area. Like I didn't want to add too much. That's kind of all I wanted to do because, again, I don't want to increase traffic a huge amount in that area. We're trying to keep it all sort of together. Now, I also realized that there's this huge section, like right here, like this road I'm putting in now is like, I just don't know why this connection doesn't really exist. So I was just like, this really should just connect through to Maple and Sunnyside and also up to the university. So I decided to build this road here, and it actually gets a lot of use out of it, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, but I do adjust it a little bit later on. So this is where we've come back. And yeah, so we're back at this intersection again. We're sort of jumping all over the place because I keep looking at it. I'm like, we should have some stuff there. And this is where I sort of move in and put some more stuff. Oh, this is actually really weird. So they updated the Move It mod right here. And I was trying to move the overpass ramp, but the node was just like locked. And I don't know if I like locked the node somehow, but I couldn't figure out how to unlock it. So I just had to rebuild it. I think we'll see it in a minute where I try to move it, but I'm not sure. But yeah, this is where I was just looking at the traffic. You can see there's just so much traffic trying to turn right. On that node there that I've got now, I can't move it. I was like, what have I done? Why can't I? But it's like updated to version 2. I'll have to read the full change notes because I try to click through the little tooltips that are down bottom right to read if there was anything to do with it, but I couldn't figure it out. So I just stopped recording and then I tried to figure it out and it didn't work, and then I just bulldozed it and built it again. Anyway, a little bit more development here. Again, it just seemed like there should be a road that connects these two areas. Don't know why there wasn't. Ignore the fact that Prop Anarchy is on there. I think we fix that soon with all the roads that we're building. Yeah, it just seemed like there should be a road connection there, and there wasn't. So now there is. There's a lot of people using that. I mean, really, at the end of the day, the more connections we have to places around the city, the less traffic we're going to have focused in one area. So, for example, in that interchange I was talking about just before, where it is busy, it still is busy, but we're building more and more connections through the area, so you don't have to go through that intersection or that interchange. So you can go a different way, and that's kind of that's really at the end of the day what we should be trying to do is create more connections without going crazy. Like, we don't want to just like, I think probably in the first city I ever built here on the channel, maybe the second one, I don't know where it was, but we just had tunnels everywhere. That was before I really knew how to deal with traffic in this game. But I feel like I've learned a lot. I've learned enough that we can solve those problems without having to do, just tunnels to solve everything, or huge bridges everywhere. Yeah, so we just want to try and connect everything up in a reasonable manner. And I think just doing these, I mean, they almost seem like really obvious connections that we should have had before. I mean, the reason we didn't have them is because it was supposed to be like smaller towns that were going to grow up. And obviously they have grown up now and they've expanded quite a lot. But they were originally separated smaller towns, so that's why they weren't. But they really should be connected. And that's why we're sort of going back and doing it now. And we'll see in a little bit. I do a huge, not huge, let's call it huge highway interchange. We do a brand new one. You might be wondering where, but you'll see it after the break. Maybe, I don't know. There might not be a break before then. Anyway, again, just another one of these little empty areas that I really wanted to fill in. So I've actually put a road underneath here because, again, it just seemed like there should be something there. I mean, again, it was fine before when the town was smaller, but this place is really, really expanded. But there's just a lot of stuff here, a lot of offices, a lot of industry, a lot of residents. So I was like, let's fill this out. Let's get some stuff in here. We got a little pathway there to connect through as well. And that's just all zoning out quite nicely. Then I was having a look at the traffic. So that new road that I built that connects to the other side over the train exchange, there was a lot of vehicles essentially now going that way. Not a huge amount, but a lot more than we used to. So essentially there's a lot of people just driving through the town. And I was like, this town was never designed to have essentially highway level amounts of traffic driving through it. So I was like, okay, we need to reroute where this road goes. And we already have this sort of bridge area here that we can try and build an interchange on. So that's exactly what we're doing here. We're adding a new turnoff. And this is essentially the bypass of Maple that connects through to the university and over to the train exchange without having to go through Maple to get there, which I think is a really, really useful road to actually have. And it becomes, I think the people actually use it quite well. So it seems to be going okay, but I'll tell you what, it's a little bit tricky to fit this all in. We get there in the end, but as you can see, it's a little bit of a nightmare. If we did this in that, we should have just done this as a live build, and I should have just commentated the whole thing, because then you could be here for a few hours. No, it didn't take a few hours. I think maybe 40 minutes or so to build this thing. No, I don't know. I was gonna say it can't be that long, but maybe it was. Time kind of just disappears when I'm building in cities. I'm like, how did that take me so long? But then it's just all these little adjustments, moving stuff where they need to be. It's also the fact that we never designed this area to have so many, like originally this area just had the one bridge going over the top. That was the highway. It was never designed to have two lower bridges that go into tunnels and then also fit in an interchange in the middle of all of this. And that's exactly what I'm doing. We've essentially got three different things going on here. We've got the regular bridge, we've got the lower bridge that goes into the tunnel, and then we've got the other interchange that's sort of put in between all of that. So trying to fit all this stuff into one was a little bit of a challenge. It's essentially retrofitting this stuff. We didn't design this area to have all that, so that's where the challenge comes from. But I think I was able to do it. I didn't actually fully check the height of the ramps and that, like if vehicles can realistically fit underneath it. I think they can. I was just judging it based off like my eyes. I was like looking, I was like, yeah, that looks high enough. I don't know, like we'll have to look in game when it's running to see if it's all the right height. But yeah, it's all this fact of getting the ramps to go over each other and sort of tuck in nice and neatly and not look like a complete spaghetti junction. Obviously, it's always going to look like a bit of spaghetti because that's what an interchange is, but I think it's fairly neat because all the ramps are pretty close together. They sort of tucked in nice and neatly around this, and they go over the sort of railway that's underneath. That's the other thing that's passing below. We've got the railway and that new road as well that we built. There's this like 4-level sort of thing that's going on here. We've got the rail at the bottom, we've got the bridges in the middle, then we've got the interchange, and then we've got the bridge up the top. There's like 4 different levels of traffic or networks sort of running through this little area here. So it is a lot going on right there, but it all manages to fit in somehow. And just making sure that all the speed limits are set as a highway still through this area. And then I'm actually gonna remove the road that I put in there because I was like, you know what, I don't want I don't know, I didn't want it on that side, so I decided to continue the road on this side. And I was like, you know what, I was like looking at the highways just there, you might have seen, I was like, these roads should be connected. These roads should absolutely be connected as well. So again, going back to what I was saying before, I just really want to have all this stuff connected in a way that makes sense. And I don't want it to be I don't want any unrealistic connections. But the thing is, these roads are so close together, and they are sort of little highway roads that are running through the region. It's like there's no reason that these shouldn't be connected together. So instead, I moved it back, lined it up with that bridge there, so that those two are connected through to each other. And obviously, we've already got a lot of traffic using all this. Then I also noticed something else that I should probably do, which I'll talk about when I get to it. No spoilers. Oh yeah, it's moving some of these pillars that was still in the way. I think I got all of them. Yeah, so we got a bunch of these cars coming in here. I was like, okay. Again, going back to the whole, like, let's make sure this place is connected well. Adding basically another highway exit, essentially what this is. Because it's just, it's only a 2-lane road, but it's still technically a highway. So I added this in here, and I actually did the asymmetrical roads. And what I did is I kept the lanes going forward, the maximum speed limit, they fly past at 100. Then the turning lanes are down to 50. And then I also, I believe, do a stop sign there. So the cars turning onto the highway have to stop instead of just, plowing out into 100-kilometer-hour traffic. And make sure the cars can flow through smoothly on all those intersections so they don't get stuck. And I think, oh yeah, here, this is where I was like, Amity Exchange, like, why is this not connected to anything? So this road actually connects through to that new road right there. So now these actually all connect through, and we now essentially have 2 highways that are connecting through to Sunnyside and all that, which is really, really useful. But what I also realized is that this was now a 4-way interchange. Technically it was a 4-way interchange. Even though they're all only 2-lane roads, all pretty small. I was like, okay, let's build a little bit more of a busy intersection, one that has the capacity to handle a bit more traffic. So we did dedicated left-hand turn lanes for all of these. And then I also made sure to do multiple lanes going forward so that, one lane turns right, one goes forward. And it's all just in this little intersection. It might not be the prettiest thing in the world, but it gets the job done. As you'll see, once we run it a little bit at the end just to make sure I connected everything correctly. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of little connections here to do with the lane manager. And you have to connect all these lanes properly. Otherwise, the way that it's built is not going to work the way you think it is. The default game functionality on a intersection like this would be terrible. I'll tell you, if you don't do the allow cars to enter intersections or manually say where cars can turn to, this intersection is terrible. But with all that stuff enabled, and then I set the speed limit up. I feel like maybe I should have set the speed limit on this a little lower because they fly through at 100 kilometers an hour, which may be a little bit fast. But I also had to make it a little bit bigger, so we actually had traffic lights in the middle because the traffic lights didn't exist when it was too small. So yeah, we had the traffic lights there. Cars can always turn left. They can always go, well, not always go forward, but they can, make sure that there's less traffic there. Now, actually, just jumping back over to the trains over this way from the oil industry area, I'm just reconnecting some of these tracks that we disconnected ages ago because we disconnected them because we had all the regional train traffic, but that's not a thing anymore, so I decided to just make sure it's all connected up in every single direction. But that is it for the time lapse, so let's go ahead and jump into the game and play some. Alright, so we're back in the normal game. I was originally considering having the road connection between these two around here somewhere because, as you can see, like this is going straight along to there. It almost seems like it should be, but at the same time, I don't think it really needs to be because I don't know why you'd be going from here to here and be going like this. And if you're going up over there, it doesn't matter because this road sort of does the same thing. So I don't know that there's any need to connect that yet. But if I mean, this is a really prime building location, so we'll probably build some stuff out here at some point. So eventually I might join up, but until then, shouldn't be something to worry about. Now, I just want to have a look at the traffic because like I was saying, most of the stuff is actually fine. Where it's red is where it's kind of always been red. Like with all the new roads, we haven't really created any new issues. I think we've somewhat reduced the traffic sort of driving through Maple just to get onto this road. I mean, there's still some people to do it, but if we do look at this road here, there's actually now a lot of people that stay on the highway, come around to the new section, and then get up to the up to that way, which is great. We also, not surprisingly, interestingly, have people driving this way through the town to get onto the highway and around, which I'm not really sure what the case with that is. I guess because they can't join the highway here and turn right because it only goes this way. And I guess it's probably quicker than driving on this road, maybe? I don't know. It just seems odd that you drive this way. Like, I don't know. Like, actually, that might not be the case. I might be driving this, like, because we only select this road. They might actually be going that way. Actually, yeah, to be fair, that makes more sense. Yeah, it is. That is the case. They're going, like, this way or maybe this way. I don't know. Oh, interesting. Anyway, it's all interesting to watch how that all works. Now, good news is we do have some more residential demand again, which is something that I'm really trying to focus on. Like I was saying, I want to get some more people around the city. And I've just been, like I said, I've been looking at areas that are quite blank. For some reason, I haven't zoned this. So let's actually just plop some more stuff in here. Actually, let me check what's the noise rating? Actually, not bad. Actually, really not bad. So I might do housing here and there. And even there, like, I mean, there's a train coming along, but it's not that loud. So I'm going to zone these sections. It gets a little bit louder down this way. So this area might change something else, but through here is fine. Even this road here. It's not quiet. It's definitely not quiet, but you're going to be doing okay. Well, you know what? Why don't we get some parks or something? We get a little playground here. That'd be nice. We got some parks right there. Make them quite happy. And then do we need any services, actually? It's probably a good question. I haven't really looked into that. In all of this expansion, I didn't really look into what we needed. Like, this whole area doesn't have any sort of healthcare at all. So it's not ideal. Maybe we should get some. Can we get some here? Get some right there. There you go. That covers most of that area there. We're only just sort of making money again. Because I think the reason is we have so many areas that are sort of split up. So we end up building a lot of services, and then we have a lot of outgoing cost. And contrary to popular belief, it's not because we're spending money on these. That's only 500 a week, and this is only, I don't even know. Oh, well, okay, the security budget is 2,000. That's still not that much on this thing compared to what people thought we were spending on these. It was 2,500 between those two things. It's not that much, and it's worth keeping that on anyway. Actually, probably not. We could probably turn it off. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's not worry about that. In terms of, I do want to keep expanding. I think we really should build here. This really looks like it should have stuff. Maybe just up to this, or we could even build all through this area here and have a few more roads coming off of it. It just seems like it should have stuff, at least up until like the hills. You know? Like, I don't know. It seems like there should be something here. It almost seems like it's kind of like we just haven't built it yet. Actually, just saw this. Did we create an issue with trains? Oh. I think I might know why I demolished some connections. Although, having said that, no, I think this was all a one-way in. I think that, yeah. Interesting that that's still an issue. So I think I had this all set up as one-way in. Like this is how I did it. And then that, actually this connection didn't exist before either. I think this was still a one-way at that point. Yeah. I had it like this, I think. I guess might as well be one way here too. Though not surprisingly, interestingly enough, this is still a this is still an issue. I don't know why it's so. Put more trucks on the road. Stop using trains. Well, anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, back over here. Let's just do kind of just do more of what we were in the time lapse, but I'll build it with you. So we're gonna go here, and I think I will do using more sort of straight angled roads rather than I'll go up to there. Rather than using sort of curved roads, I think it kind of looks interesting having the sort of, I guess, yeah, these straight sort of roads, but they're like grid layer. I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool because if we have a look, we'll have a look in a second at the other area, but this is essentially what I was doing. I was like, the grids aren't full size either. They're slightly smaller than what you might expect. This one will go there because then it even creates a little bit of a different aspect to it. So we can go up this way. This one can be here to that point and through there. I don't think I'll join that bit though. Oh, you know what? Maybe I will. That's all strange. I don't think I'll do that though. I think this will just go there. No, that looks a bit weird. I mean, could just have it there. Just have that corner a little bit later. Yeah, that's fine. I won't connect through there though. I think I'll connect this one through though. Might as well. Seems to make sense. And then maybe have one road going through here somewhere. And then these can connect up to this area. So that'll go there. And then, I mean, this can get... Well, I don't know why that's trying to build a bridge. Stay on the ground, please. Go to there. So almost connect, but it'll just... So that people should be able to walk between those two, which is good. And that sort of connects up that way. That creates this... See, I think that looks pretty good. Like, I think the layout of that looks really nice. And I think what I was saying before in the time-lapse, through this area, where you have almost like the really smooth flowing curves of the railway, but then the grid sort of traces around it, but in a sort of loose grid style. And I think it really works. I think it looks pretty good. I don't really... Okay, but the question I have is, and I actually like your feedback on this. I don't really know how to... So obviously the road just ends here. I feel like I don't know how to end at the edge of the grid though, because we just have a straight edge with nothing on it. Like, how do we make it look somewhat naturally developed over time in terms of sort of going into the hills? Do we have like a curved road there? Do we just zone the edge of that and be done with it? Because I think having a straight edge like that looks pretty lame. Like, it doesn't look great. I think we almost need to have, well, I guess kind of like this G thing where we just have those sort of roads extending out but not into a grid. So they've totally just extended out. Maybe this way we'll go up here a little bit and then we just, I don't know. I just don't know how to end a grid. That's the issue I'm having now. I guess this kind of, in this way, it kind of works. So you've got sort of grid through here, then it's a little bit more free flowing in the mountain. I think that might be okay. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, let's build this out so we can at least get this little area up and running too. I think as well, I don't know what's going on with the pipes here, by the way. Don't question that. This area is pretty decently connected in terms of public transport, because we have the train here, passenger train station. The tram is here, and that tram, I believe, connects all the way. Where is tram? Is this tram? This is tram. It's really hard to see it though. This tram is here, this green one. I think that's the one that goes all the way to Sunnyside. Yeah, it is. It goes all the way up over there. So that's actually a pretty good connection. Really, I guess all we'd have to do is do like a bus service through this area. We got like no buses through. This whole area really needs a bus service. Probably connecting through this whole area to the trams, and then it'll probably be fine. Anyway, let's go here. So I want this to be residential, like all of this. Maybe get a school out here or something. Because we have a school there, but we'll get another one. Let's get them out over this way. So it's a little bit sort of not right next to all the industrial. It's kind of a little bit off the beaten track. Maybe even the high school, but I might get the sort of Institute of Creative Arts, which I think is some more... Oh, actually, you know what? No, I won't do a high school. We've already got really good high school coverage here. Not the whole city can go to high school, though. So they don't deserve it, you know? They just don't. Might get this in here, though. We'll get the huge park in. Why not? We got an area for it there. A lot of parks here, actually. So it's a pretty nice area. Who wouldn't want to live here? That's my question. I'm going to zone all of this. I don't know that I like all these trucks driving through here, though. So what I might do... Yeah, I don't want all these... oil. If this is going to be a residential area, I don't want all these huge oil trucks driving through the area, or just any huge truck, really. If I do that, I mean, this area really, this should be a district, and it's not. Should it be south? No, South Sedona is there. I guess this can be Strawberry. You know what? Maybe this can be this district. Up to this point, maybe. I don't know. It's going to all be... I've got to be... Actually, you know what? No, that shouldn't be district. Sorry. Because I'm going to be changing this to Grove District. I'm not going to allow heavy traffic. So to make sure it's not on this highway. Well, not highway. It's definitely not a highway. You know what I mean? Like the main road. Because that is going to be where trucks go, obviously. So then this, I'm going to make sure this goes down to here. So that this is definitely not covering any road that it shouldn't be. Okay, that should be fine. So Grove District, I'm going to go policies, and this is going to be a heavy traffic ban, and maybe a high-rise ban too. Probably should have that. The rest should probably be fine. I'll give them Parks and Rec boost. Why not? So that'll be there. That will stop trucks driving through like this, because I really don't want that. This is supposed to be a nice little residential enclave. So, you know. Now, I guess this is like, we'll do offices here, actually, because I don't want to be shoving commercial right up to the residential area. Because if we do, like, I mean, there's commercial there, but if we do some offices along here too, along this main road. I wasn't originally going to zone this main road. I mean, we don't have to zone a lot of it. I'll keep that section unzoned, and actually I might keep this section unzoned. And I might, just to ensure that I don't accidentally zone it, build little pathways, these little pathways, because these are very hard to see. And I built it wrong, so let me do it again. These are very hard to see when you place them because they sort of blend into the side of the road, but they do block the zoning quite expertly. So that's what we want to do with that one. And then I should do some trees along the side of the road to make it look a little bit nicer. So we'll go up to there. So then that section of the zode, that section of the zode will remain unroaded. That's apparently what I might have been going to say. All right, so I'm going to copy this and use these here. I think this is a good way to prop and tree anarchy. Also turn that off because I've realized I've had that on the entire time. Duplicate. So just get all these here. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Nice. So not only when you drive on this road is it quite nice because it seems like you're like maybe in a forest area or something like that, but it also would really separate out the residential area from that heavy road, which is good too, I think. So I'm going to zone all of this. Pretty much all of this with residential, I think. Not that little bit there though. Definitely not that bit. Just that bit. There we go. And then this. I mean, I don't want to have not any commercial. I think let's get some commercial here. A little strip of it there, sort of near the school. I think makes sense. And maybe around this park here too. We'll get like a little bit here. And then back to residential. Now that might be a little bit louder next to that railway. Because that is not commercial. It is an industrial railway with all the freight on it. So that might be a little bit louder. But anyway, that's going to go through there. Now, they don't have power, but they're not going to abandon anything because they don't do that. It's quite a big office block that they put in the corner there. They've just whacked that right in, haven't they? You know what? I guess to each their own. That's fine. Do we want to have a little medical clinic? I might actually do this on this corner here. So not on the main road, but just next to it. For a couple of reasons. Well, actually, first of all, I want to move that to here. So yeah, a couple of reasons I want to do that is because I don't want it on the main road, but I think it looks kind of cool in that corner. Also, I was hoping that it would join the power through. It didn't. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right, so it's all powered up again. Okay, so that's that area there. That's all going to come in slowly but surely. Building little trailer park homes here, so there's that. It looks like the trains have cleared out a bit because we've only got 2 there now. Yep. It's still a bit busy here on the way in. I really don't know why they do this. Like, I don't know why. Because the thing is, we've got 2... Oh, no, this one is going there. I was going to say we've got 2 of these places, but they only go to the one. But that's not true. Okay, well, what I might do then... Because looking at it, we don't have a split early enough to get to this. Now, how many of them go this way? There's a few. So we can at least split off here. And this will give us a little bit more room. Hang on. Like, so we split further back. So we go there. And then, I guess, to this point to there? Is that, oh my god. What is happening? Hang on. Need to make sure that these are all the same height, because that looks ridiculous. There we go. And then these can all be this height. That's better. Okay, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to get rid of this connection, just so we move that junction further back. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't know. Like, this is like really quite interesting. But anyway, that gives us more room to queue up. That was the idea. Rather than, because I mean, at this point here, these trains could be going to either of those. But if we can sort of split it up here so that they can move up closer, that might be better. I don't really know why they prefer to do something like that instead of just like, hey, maybe just send a truck. Maybe that'll be a good idea. Or hey, maybe if we pack these trains more efficiently. Hang on. If we pack these trains more efficiently, although that is 70%. That's 13, so that's not efficient. Those two could be joined. It'd be better. But anyway, whatever. As long as it's not too bad. I mean, it's not the worst. I've seen worse. I like how I saw that bridge there too. Anyway, hey, we'll eventually be doing the... hang on, I don't know why I've got all this zoning visible. We'll eventually be doing the... Where did I build it? The Vegas area, there it is. We'll eventually be building this. Don't worry, we will get to it. Hopefully in the next few episodes or so. Yeah, that's going to be it for this time. Just a lot of expansion, a lot more zoning. Really, I mean, this... Okay, see, look at this now. This actually looks like one place rather than two oddly separated places from this road. So I actually really think that was worth it. And ideally, this whole area is going to expand like with roads just all the way down here, zoning, residential all the way along, pretty much all the way around the top of the mountain, because I think that makes sense. So I think once that's all sort of joined together with zoning, it will look pretty cool. And it becomes part of the city sprawl, through this whole area here, at least up until this railway. Pretty much a railway at the moment is going to be acting as a border, I think. Yeah, especially because then it sort of turns into desert. We can probably zone through here too, but we'll see how we go. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. But I will see you next time, and have an awesome day.